Good morning. It's the 7th of June. We're having a great day today. Let's head over to the Longbow dashboard because we've outlined a few securities for you. So on the Longbow dashboard, I've put here the SPY, some Qs, Russell. I've got Japan and China. The one overbought signal today we have is in the Russell. Obviously, that really has ramped as people have been more comfortable with the idea of a soft landing, more comfortable with the idea of a pause here before any potential maybe July rate hikes. But they're still pricing in that rates are going to go down. There's going to be this, call it perfect landing of the economy. But we're getting additional readings, whether out of China, you saw exports and imports are down. We're seeing some soft data out of Japan as well. And that's obviously been a leader until last night. And so we really think that you need to be wareful of this. So understanding the macro, our friends over at 42 Macro and our friends over at Absolute Strategy, take a look at their macro data, make sure you have that baked into your assumptions for your portfolio construction and risk management. Choose fundamentals for the positions you want to own, and then put things onto the Longbow dashboard so you can see technically how things are trading. So is this the day to go into the Russell? No, it's not the day to go in the Russell. We're kind of middling here on the SPY and call it NASDAQ or tech. Japan's in the middle as well. So that's come off from being overbought. We've talked about that in the last few weeks with you. And then China's also in the middling. So even though this has had a tough time, and maybe we'll head there right now, huge ramp up, people getting excited about the reopening. And then it's been pretty much a story going down. You can see here, though, it did bounce off of lows for the Longbow trading range. We're almost near the highs, but here the range has made kind of bounce back up on the top end. So now we're middling. So, it's an implied volatility discount though. So people are not pricing in a ton of worry. I think a lot of people just took their money off the table. But there's a ton of short interest on this. So imagine, we don't think that they're going to do any kind of stimulus anytime soon. They're obviously doing it through lower rates on deposits and loans to their banking system. So businesses and consumers can take on more debt, hopefully spur growth. But we'd be really wary if you're going to see a security like this where everybody's short. That's not going to be making new lows and keep on a bottom trajectory because it's going to be providing a floor. So it's neutral on the short term, bearish on the medium term. It's pretty complacent implied volatility discount, but we do note this. So again, when we think about all the different statistics, and you obviously have your Longbow dashboard, you need to not just look at the trading range. You need to be saying, what is it short term, medium term? Where's the I-vol relative to the past? And then I always like to look at the chart. So like for Japan here, it's just been a straight shot up, right? It's come off the top end of the range. You can see how well it works right there. So now we're in the middle end of the range, but the range is still headed up. It is one of the countries that looks better from a macro perspective relative to peers globally. But that's when you really want to use this signal and say there's not a lot of short interest. Okay, so there's not a lot to ramp this up, but it is bullish. So if I'm going to get the low end of the range at some point, maybe that's a better entry for me. We'll leave you to decide, if you're not playing it through ETFs, which are the individual securities we want. We hold individual local currency securities in Japan and all over the world, but you don't need to. Maybe you have a Schwab or other kind of account and you just can do ETFs traded in the US. There's still a way to play these kind of securities that might outperform other areas. Well, that's it for today. That's a little learning kernel for you, and we'll see you back tomorrow.